Andre is a fantastic photographer. He has been photographing me since he started out, really. He actually photographed my wife and I, our wedding. So I know Andre very well, and I've obviously danced with him a lot as well. So he started following me in rehearsals, on stage, and the past year or 18 months has been really exciting, actually. I've been able to dance with some of the best ballerinas in the world. We have some of the most incredible repertoire here at the Royal Ballet, so Andre took the opportunity and ran with it. So he's been following me. You see behind the scenes, you see the rehearsal process, you see the good days, the bad days. You see the side of stage, a lot of things that the audience don't ever see. I think one real crucial element about the book that is so exciting is that not one single photograph has been staged. Nothing has been posed. At no point did he say, hang on, just hold that position. Everything is 100% natural.
Now, there's a lot of pain in ballet, a lot of hard work, but also there's a big kick, isn't there? And I wondered for you, when the biggest kick came, is there a moment when you leave the wings and go on stage when you feel your adrenaline rise, or is it in the middle of perhaps a solo you're doing?
For me, performing is everything. I adore stepping on stage. I think that buzz of adrenaline you get just before you step on stage is something you can't replicate. It just takes over your whole body. Years of experience teaches you how to control that so that it doesn't become a nervous energy. But for me, that adrenaline rush and that thrill of performing live is truly magical. It really is.
And do you feel that very physically then when you move onto the stage?
Yeah, the adrenaline rush that is going through your whole body, I guess, gives you an extra push. Your senses are heightened. You can sometimes feel things that perhaps you hadn't felt before. You see things clearer. Everything is just heightened, which no matter how much you rehearse something, you can't replicate that until you're on stage.
And what about the moment you come off at the end of something? Do you, for a moment, need to completely flop?
That's a tricky question. Each show is so different. Sometimes you come off stage and you feel on a bit of a high. Other shows, it's the complete opposite. You're annoyed at yourself. You wish you could have done more. Every show, you're always striving for perfection. And unfortunately, perfection doesn't exist. So you always come off stage wanting to have done something better or to improve on something. But it's an interesting time when you come off stage. There's so many thoughts and things going through in your mind. Your body is pumping full of adrenaline. You can be awake for hours after a show, which is kind of tricky when you have to be up the next morning to rehearse for the next production. But yeah, it's the whole process before, during and after a performance is all part of it.
You're in Winter's Tale at the moment. You're about to dance, in a new Scarlet ballet, and then you're going to dance in The Dream.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about those two roles.
Well, the ballet by Liam Scarlett is called Sweet Violets, and he actually created it for us 2 seasons ago. So it's the first time we're revisiting the ballet. He's tweaking a few scenes. My role is Jack, as in Jack the Ripper, but it's not a 3-dimensional real-life role. It's more the spirit of Jack the Ripper. I get into people's heads and plant ideas, and it's a spiritual role, really, which is always fun to develop something different. Liam is very clever at creating unique roles for each dancer, and to have him in the studio is brilliant. Anytime you can work with a choreographer is great, but he's truly exceptional. And then straight after that, in the next program, I'll be performing Midsummer Night's Dream by Frederick Ashton. It's a really special piece. It's an iconic Royal Ballet piece. It has a special place in my heart. It was one of the first principal roles I ever did at very short notice with Alina Cojocaru, so I always adore performing the role. And we get to work with Sir Anthony Dow. Obviously, it was created on him, so that's as close to Ashton as you're going to get.
Now, apart from Jack, quite often you've danced quite princely roles, haven't you? And I wondered whether you had an interest in dancing some baddies, like Jack the Ripper?
I'm really fortunate that the Royal Ballet's repertoire is so extreme and diverse. I can be a prince one night, then I can be Jack the Ripper the next, the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland. It is so diverse and extreme that I get to tap into multiple personalities.
And is that something you want to explore more? I mean, is there a particular role that's in your mind that you'd like to dance in future?
I just would love to have a full-length ballet created on me. I would like a challenging role, both physically and mentally. Obviously, choreographically, I'd like it to challenge me in the technical elements, but also dramatically.
So something contemporary?
Still a full-length classical evening. I would like my own Romeo or Manon created.
Would you like to take on a role that's quite complex in that as well, or would you veer more towards the princely roles?
Oh, I'm open to all the roles. I think each kind of role adds an extra layer to your artistry. And I think the more roles you can tackle, the more rounded an artist it makes you.
And who are the male dancers you admire most?
I actually tend to get my inspiration from other sources. I watch a lot of motorsport, and I grew up around cars, hence the title of the book, Dancer in the Fast Lane.
And where was that?
That was in Sydney, Australia. My family are still involved with cars, and I adore drag racing, and I watch it every week. It's very big in the United States. There's one driver in particular, his name's John Force, and I grew up watching videos of him. I could recite every single interview. I used to watch him obsessively. And he basically came from nothing and created what is now the most successful motorsport team. He's become world champion 16 times, and he did that through sheer determination, hard work, and obviously a bit of luck.
What attracts you to that particular sport?
Drag racing is high adrenaline, it's fast, and there's obviously risk involved. And I think there's a direct link to my profession as a dancer. Every time we step on stage, the adrenaline, the risks involved, it is live, there's no pre-recorded backup, it is there, spur of the moment, and you have to react quick.
Have you ever had something go wrong on stage?
Every performance, there's always something, and you have to cover it up. That's what we train so hard to do. Every performance is live, so you have to give as much as you can possibly give to the audience.
Do you remember a particular time that stands out in your mind?
No, I don't focus on things like that.
You just move on.
Exactly.
So you enjoyed the speed as a child, and you took up ballet very early, didn't you, at 7? Sometimes in this country, certainly, they say that there aren't enough boys taking up ballet. Mm-hmm. What do you think we need to do about it?
I think the stigmas around boys doing ballet is so old-fashioned and old school. I think dance is purely for everyone. There are so many dance shows now on TV showing that anyone can dance. Okay, not everyone's going to be a professional, but everyone can have a go. And the dance world truly has transformed my life. I came from the suburbs of Sydney, where I had no exposure to the art world at all. And suddenly I'm now living in London. I get to perform on one of the most beautiful stages in the world. I get to travel the world performing, dancing for royalty and meeting some of the most incredible people. I can't say a bad word about the dance world. It has truly given me a life that I didn't even think was possible. So I think every boy should go out there and have a go.
How did it work for you, though? If you came from that kind of background without parents taking you to the ballet and so on, how did you get into dance and how did you get over that barrier?
Well, I was very fortunate that my sister, who's 7 years older than me, was a very good gymnast, and she also did a bit of dancing. So I used to watch her as a young child and mimic her, really. I was always that child that would hide behind my mum or dad's leg. I didn't really speak to anyone. So I think when I asked I'd like to have a go, my parents thought, great, would take him along. And I think they thought I would last a week. And here I am still dancing.
So they did encourage you even though it wasn't in their family tradition, culture?
Yeah, my father and my mother, they have always told me that it doesn't matter what you do in life, just do it properly. So they totally supported me and still do.
And they've come over here to see you dance here?
Yeah, Australia's just such a long way and it's so expensive, so they can't get over here as often as they'd like. But I'm actually going home to Australia in July to perform with the Queensland Ballet. performing Romeo. So it'll be wonderful to spend some time with them.
I was going to say, you're at the Royal Ballet, which of course is great, but Australia has its own great ballet companies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Would you like to do more of that at some point?
Yeah, Australia has some of the most incredible dancers, and they have such wonderful companies out there. So I think the more I can do with the companies in Australia, that would be truly exciting. And I think I'm in such a fortunate position to be learning and experiencing so many great things with great choreographers and so many dancers that had roles originally created on them, like Sir Anthony Dow or Leslie Collier. I think it would be very selfish of me not to share that. So ultimately, one day, it would be great to take all that home and share that with the next generation.
And encourage little boys who are like you to take it up, I guess. On the boys' side of things, I can see you in front of me, I can see your muscles. How strong do you have to be as a male ballet dancer?
We're basically athletes. If you're throwing a girl above your head, that's no mean feat. Obviously, the girls we're dancing with are in such incredible shape. However, if you've been dancing for 3 hours in a live performance and you're still not only getting the cardiovascular workout of maintaining peak performance, but you're still lifting someone and supporting someone, it's tough physically and mentally, but that's why we train such long hours every single day, 6 days a week.
Do you lift weights as well?
We have a whole physiotherapy and medical team that help us to develop areas that need strengthening and recover from injuries. That's also mentally as well. We have a great psychologist that assists with sports psychology.
Has anything changed in the last few years? Have you taken anything new up to aid your training or developed anything new?
I had quite a big injury when I was much younger, starting out in the company, and that changed my perception and views on what it is that we do. I quickly learnt that you have to look after your body. It is your instrument. You can't go out and buy another one. You only get one. So I try and focus a lot on the physical side of things. The daily class that we do every morning is the most important thing for me.
Do you do it even if you're on holiday or away?
Well, our season requires us to be in shape for 11 months of the year, 6 days of the week. So when we do have time off, it's very important to stop. However, if you take a week off, it takes 2 weeks to get back in shape. So I try and spread out the breaks that I have throughout the year.
Can you eat what you like?
Yeah, I follow a nice healthy diet. I always say to people, you wouldn't put rubbish petrol into your nice car. So I try and treat my body the same. Put in what you want to get out of it.
You're married to a dancer. Is it ever hard not to take work home?
My wife is my biggest support. I honestly wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for her. It's so incredibly helpful to have someone that understands what it is you're doing and just totally gets it. They understand that, okay, tomorrow is quite a big show, quiet time, or he needs a distraction, let's go and do this, and vice versa. When Lizzie's also really busy, I know how to react in that scenario. But we're very good at switching off. Once we're home, it's no longer work.
And what do you do to switch off, or do you have any hobbies?
We both love food. My wife's an incredible cook, which is great for me. She's great at baking. Yeah, I adore my motorsport as well. It's a good way to switch off.